Hey y'all, welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be doing another ranking video, and we are going to be ranking all of the Monster High playsets. This is actually an idea from one of you guys. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how long ago this was suggested at this point, because whenever I get a new idea, I just write it in my little list of video ideas that I have. So whenever you guys make a suggestion, that also gets put into the list. And sometimes it's very hard to know how old a concept is. So sorry if this took me a while to get to. I honestly can't remember, but we are doing it today. We are ranking all of the Monster High playsets. I am doing all of the generations all in one video just because there's not an astronomical number of playsets. It feels pretty manageable, and so we should be able to get through it in one video, no problem, even though there are 3 generations worth of playsets to look at. Of course, this ranking, just like all of my other rankings, is just going to be my opinion. So if you guys disagree, totally chill, not a big deal. And I would love to hear your thoughts on these playsets in the comments down below. Also, if this video is a little bit weird, 2 things going on behind the scenes. You can skip this if you don't care. But the first one is that my tripod is not functioning properly. It's a little bit broken, so if I'm slightly tilted or anything this video, I'm sorry. We're trying to just make it work while we can, and then I'll have to get a new one. But I just realized it was broken when I sat down to film this, so too late to do anything now. Other thing is that I have a slight bit of a cold. I think it's just that the temperature has been going up and down and up and down, and it's been driving me crazy. So I was like, okay, you're gonna film today, you should take some medicine. I don't have any daytime cold medicine, and I'm filming this on Black Friday, and I really don't want to go out to get daytime cold medicine. So I took NyQuil before filming this video. So if I start to get a little weird, that might be why. If I start to get a little drowsy, that is definitely why. I'm definitely gonna have to take a nap after this, but it's gonna get me through the video, which is the important part. I promise everything is fine. I just think it's really funny, and I don't know, I wanted to share with you guys. But yeah, we are going to be doing ranking of all of the Monster High playsets. Back to the actual topic at hand here. If you guys find yourself enjoying the video, if you could give it a like, that's super helpful to me. If you're new here and you enjoy your time, definitely subscribe so you can see more. And if you want to go out of your way to support me, I have links and stuff in the description down below. But without further ado, let's actually start ranking. So as with all of my rankings, I will be using Procreate, and the tiers that we are working with today are Perfect, then Would Buy if Space, where the only reason that I don't want this playset is because of space reasons, not because I actually don't like it. Then we have Fine, I Feel Nothing, Put It Back, and Burn It. Also a couple more things to categorize this, I guess you would say. I'm not including vehicles because I feel like vehicles and playsets do kind of go together, but me and my husband did a video ranking a bunch of different doll vehicles in general, not just Monster High, but doll vehicles in general. Not comprehensive, but I did include some of those on that list, so I feel like it would be kind of repetitive, and also technically they are different to me. And then I'm also not including any of the Create a Monster playsets. I know there was 1, maybe 2 Create a Monster playsets from Gen 1 of Monster High, and at some point I do want to do a Create a Monster ranking because that was another suggestion from one of y'all. So I'll be including those when I do that, and we're just focusing on the regular line Monster High playsets. So we're going to be getting started with Draculaura's Jewelry Box Coffin. Excuse me, I hiccuped immediately. This is a good start. I think this is cute. Obviously, Draculaura as a vampire is going to have a coffin, and it's very fun to me. I like the little drapes that we have. We have a lot of little accessories. It looks like the coffin lid can raise and lower. I don't own this, so I don't know for sure, but it looks like that would be the mechanic, which I think is really quite cute. Oh, I'm debating on how high I should put this. Honestly, I think we're going to start off really, really strong here, and I'm going to say Would Buy if I had the space. Because, if I had an infinite amount of space, and also funds, but we're just not talking about that for this one, I think I would get that. I think it's cute. Next up, we have Frankenstein's Bed from Gen 1, and, I do think this is cool, but those of you who have watched pretty much any of my videos, I talk about this quite frequently, will know that I'm not really a Gen 1 or 2 Frankie fan. I didn't get into them until Gen 3. So this first Gen Frankie bed, yes, it's cool, but it's just definitely not targeted to me. That being said, it does look like you can tilt the bed, and so it's fun. It definitely is a cool design, a unique design, very fun and thematic. I'm going to go ahead and put this in Fine, because I do want to give it some credit, despite me not being a Frankie fan. Then we have the hydration station. Some of these did come with dolls. I'm really going to be trying not to take the dolls into account and really just looking at the playset itself. And I actually did used to own this. I ended up selling it because of space reasons. So that probably will tell you where this is going to go. I think this is a really, really cool playset though. Laguna is in like a little chamber, and then the panel in front is actually like two sections. I'm not describing this well at all, but you can fill the front panel with water so it will bubble and light up. And it's really, really cool. It's also just very big and clunky, and it was like kind of hard to fit into my displays. And the Laguna doll is fine, but like the hydration station is definitely like the selling point here. So that's why I ended up selling this set and getting rid of it. It's just because I didn't feel like it was necessary for my collection. That being said, it's going to go into would buy of space because I would have kept it if I lived in a mansion with just rooms and rooms and rooms full of dolls. Oh, sorry. I don't know why that's so funny to me. The idea of like having a 10-bedroom house and like 8 of them are just dolls. Anyway, though, on to Cleo's vanity. The organization of some of these images is a little strange. I didn't make them, so sorry if it's like kind of weirdly oriented, but I do think this is really cute. I'm a big Cleo fan, so like obviously I'm a sucker for anything that was supposed to go with her. I like the color schemes for this. It looks like there's a skullette on the back of the chair, which is pretty cute. I do like this, but I don't think that I like the vanity sets quite as much as like some of the bed sets, which is super funny because I don't like sleeping dolls. Why am I just a contradiction here? I don't know. I think that the vanity sets look cool, but I don't feel like they, for me, add a whole lot. I'm going to put this in fine. Next up, we have Claudine's bed from Gen 1, this little like bunk bed type situation. I don't like this as much as Draculaura's bed for sure, and I don't even think I like this as much as Frankie's bed. I do think the color scheme is nice. It's very Claudine. I like the kind of leopard print blankets that you get, and the curtain again on the bottom is really fun. It looks like she has a mini fridge down here, which is pretty cute, and of course some other accessories there. But I don't know, something about this is just like less exciting to me. Yeah, I really don't know what it is, but I can't muster up any positive emotion for this, but I don't hate it. I don't even feel that bad about it, so it's going to go in I feel nothing, because really I do feel pretty neutral. Then we have Abby's bed, and this is cool, okay? Two things, though. I mean, I do love Abby, and also I'm a sucker for transparent plastic or just transparent or semi-transparent elements on dolls in general, so I do feel like this one is designed almost with me in mind. It's just really fun. I think the sculpting is awesome. I love the blanket. We have a little pet bed here for her pet, which is adorable. This one is just cool to me. I don't know that I would go so far as to say that I would buy it, just because I think the accessories aren't quite as fun as some of the other ones, but it is going to go into fine. Then we have the coffin bean from Gen 1. Again, I'm trying to ignore the dolls, which is very hard because, like, as someone who doesn't usually focus on playsets, my brain instantly wants to zero in on the dolls, but I need to look at the furniture instead. I will say I feel like this little sofa situation here, and then this, like, register situation, I guess it is, because there's, like, a little register there, but then there's all the syrups and, like, drinks and stuff. Those kind of feel like they go together. The sudden bright red of this chair doesn't match to me. I don't know. It's definitely not terrible. Really, I don't feel much, which means it's going into I feel nothing. Then we have a Draculaura's powder room. This one's hard because I like it conceptually. I think this is a really fun idea, but personally, I just don't care for it. I do think it's really fun that in the mirror they have like a little printed image of Draculaura's clothes and her earrings and like floating lipstick, like she's getting ready, but you can't see her because she's a vampire. That's really fun. I have to ignore the doll. I think the doll is quite fun, but I have to ignore it. Everything else is cool. Definitely not something that I would purchase, but I really do like the concept behind this, so it's going to go into fine. Next up, we have another vanity. This one is for Frankie, and I just don't feel the same way that I did about Frankie's bed. I don't think that there's as much ingenuity here. That's not to say that it's bad. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I just feel like with Frankie's bed, there was more opportunity for more creativity, and this one is just, it's just a Frankie-themed vanity. Like, that's really it. I don't know. I, I feel like this is probably quite controversial, but because I don't really like Gen 1 Frankie, I'm not really a huge fan of this. I don't know if I want to put it in I Feel Nothing or Put It Back. Because Put It Back sounds mean, but I don't like it. I'm going to say Put It Back. I'm so sorry to the Frankie fans. Next up, we have the Scaris Cafe cart. So there was like this cart section here, has a couple of treats and like some sort of coffee machine. I don't know all the names. My husband makes me coffee. He's a good man. I don't have to make my own coffee. So I don't know the name of like the machine here. But it's okay. I don't know. And like the little cafe set is fine too. It just seems a bit boring to me, I guess. It's going to go into I Feel Nothing. Next up, we have the Desert Frights Oasis. I believe this was part of the 13 Wishes line, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of a weird one. Like, I like parts of it a lot, but some elements I just think are a bit strange. Mostly, okay, so we have like this pool/hot tub question mark. I'm not sure what it is supposed to be, but I believe you fill this with water and you can have a doll hang out in there, and like that's cute. I think that's fun. The palm trees is kind of interesting. I also love this little fire pit. That is so cute. I don't know why. I'm extremely enamored with the fire pit. I'm ignoring the Cleo even though she's gorgeous. The chairs even make sense to me, but I think what's losing me is this little canopy situation here. To be fair, as of time of filming, I haven't seen 13 Wishes yet. I'm actually like about to watch it tonight, so kind of bad timing on my part. So I don't know if this is actually from the movie, and like then it would make more sense. But I think if it's meant to be a canopy, like as a sunshade to kind of keep the sun from hitting the ghouls, I wish it were a fabric piece on top instead of the molded plastic. It looks like there's shelves in there that I don't quite understand. But if I ignored that part, I do think the rest is quite cute. And honestly, okay, don't look at the Cleo. Stop looking at the Cleo. I was going to say I would buy it if I had the space, but that's because I like the doll. I'm going to put it in fine, because if I'm being realistic, if it didn't come with the doll, I would like it less. Then also from 13 Wishes, we have the Party Lounge with Spectra. Again, haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if this ties in any sort of way. But I really am not a fan. Again, shouldn't be looking at the doll. Part of it doesn't help that I don't love this Spectra doll, but I also just don't get the whole setup. Like, she's, controlling the music. It's not working for me. I'm going to say Put It Back for this one. Next up, we have the Art Class Studio, which I want to like because I am a huge proponent of art. I like to do art when my little hands are functioning properly. And I think the Art Class dolls were really fun. I thought it was cool to see different characters get to do different art forms based on their personality and like their themes and stuff. But I just don't know if this is working for me. I think it needed to be bigger. I think that's the thing. I think they should have gone further with this. I get why they didn't, because I don't think that Art Class was like a line that got the most budget. It wasn't like a budget line, but I don't think it was like a primary line for Monster High, But I think this would have been really cool if it was like twice the size that it currently is. If there was a bigger pottery station and like more room for the ice sculpting and all of that stuff. I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think that it could have been pushed a lot further. So I'm going to put this one into fine. Okay, then we have from Frights Camera Action, the dressing room. Haven't seen this movie either, so that doesn't help. But ultimately, it's like kind of a vanity situation. I do like the chairs that we got with this one. I think that's fun. The little screen is kind of cute because it kind of ties into me with like, oh, okay, this is like the vanity area. Like, we need to have all of the actors and actresses like behind the scenes there. It's okay, but it doesn't make me feel anything. So predictably, it goes into I Feel Nothing. Also from Frights Camera Action, we have the premiere party, which is like, okay, it's not terrible. I like the little ropes. I think that's really funny. Like, they're in line and they have to be contained by the ropes. There's like a little drink station. I'm not sure what the deal is here. I think this is like an interview desk because that kind of looks like a microphone, but I could be wrong. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it necessarily. I do feel like maybe it's a lot going on and I just don't personally get it. So, no like shade, but also going into I feel nothing. Next up, we have the diner. Yeah, it sure does exist. That's about all I can say. The booth is like a fun idea because when you think of like a stereotypical like 50s American diner, I think definitely the booth comes to mind. But there's no table for the booth. I think instead of getting this situation where operetta's sitting with like the high top chairs and the table, I think they should have just gone all in, done two booth seats and then one big table in the middle. Like I get that there were also high top chairs and like there can still be high top chairs, but I just feel like they should have committed to the booth situation. It's not working for me. I'm going to put this one and put it back. Next up is Home Ick, which I do think is quite cute. I know we had like a couple of dolls for Home Ick, I think. And I feel like in the webisodes, it was like a weirdly big part of the webisode. It's like they were in Home Ick class a decent amount. This one is cute. I think the fridge is actually awesome with the clear door and like the spider webs everywhere. That looks really cool. I think it's the fridge, not like a cupboard. I'm going to call it a fridge. And I like the little like cooking station. This is adorable. Is this how I'm realizing that I like kitchen themed stuff? I don't know, but the Jello mold, that's cute. That's cute. Would I buy it if I had the space though? Would I have any of my dolls in the kitchen? I don't think so, so I'm going to put it into fine, but it's definitely like a high fine. Ooh, okay, next up we have Laguna's shower, and this is so cool, okay? I feel like you're getting a lot of the vanity situation with the mirror and the chair that we've had before, but then you also get a whole shower, and the colors and the theming and like the prints and everything are so fun. I love this. I think this is really like just interesting. The shower especially is absolutely captivating to me with that curtain. Oh, it's so fun. There's like a little loofah. Oh my gosh. I love it. I just like that it's pushed to the next level. Like, I know the vanities are more meant to be like putting your makeup on and stuff like that, not necessarily like the sink you have in the shower. But you can have a vanity in the bathroom too. It just depends on your setup. I just think this is really fun. I'm actually going to put this in would buy if I had space. Because I think that's adorable. Okay, next up we have Spectra's bed. And y'all know I'm a sucker for Spectra. I do like the design for this with like almost the wrought iron gates of the headboard and the footboard. Is that what it's called? A footboard? It's fine. I like the chains that we've got. We have another pet bed featured here. I wish it was softer. Like I wish that we had a proper little foam mattress, like a little fake mattress here instead of the plastic. But that's all of these, so like I can't critique too hard. I like the blanket. I like the pillow. This is cute. I don't think I would buy it if I had the space. Because, like, I like it. But I can't imagine myself wanting to have a Spectre doll, like, posed in this. So I think I'm going to put this one into fine, too. But it's pretty good. Like, for this video, fine is still a good ranking. Okay, this is a big one. This is the Catacombs, which is pretty cool that they made this. Like, it's just fascinating to me, and I really do appreciate it because the Catacombs are also a big deal in like the webisodes and the movies. They're a very frequently visited location, and so I think it's cool to get these. They're also a very nebulous location. Like, there's no, as far as I know, like a map of the Catacombs. They kind of just have things there as they need to be there. But I do think it's cool. I'm trying to see. I don't know exactly when this came out in relation to any of the movies or the webisodes, so that's making it harder. But I know that like Operetta hangs out in the Catacombs and plays on, is it an organ or a piano? She plays on an instrument. I think it's the organ. But she plays down there, like she hangs out down there by herself, even though I didn't love it. Ghouls Rule, the movie, had like a lot to do with the Catacombs, and I kind of wish that we saw some of those scenes in here because it feels like very generic scenes. Like there's just a random like sofa, some chairs hanging out here. I wish that it was more thematic to the events of like the show and movies and stuff, or like, just things that we've seen multiple times in the catacombs. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on this. I think I'm still gonna put it into fine just because I think it's cool that it got made, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement in my opinion. Okay. Then we have Frankie's recharge chamber from Electrified. I think that this actually does like produce static and make her hair stand up, which I suppose is a cool gimmick. I just don't like Gen 1 Frankie. I don't like Electrified. I don't like the colors. I don't like this. Yes, I'm biased. I can't do a ranking without being biased. This is going to go and burn it. Then we have the Draculacker, which is okay, I guess. I feel like it should have come with a lot more than it does. And there was like a weird webisode that I think was actually the last webisode I watched, if I'm recalling correctly. I think this is where I gave up. That was, I suppose, made to promote this doll. I don't know. I don't think that this is a super playset. I didn't like the webisode. I have only negative feelings for this, so it is going into burn it also. Okay, this one I have questions about. This is the student lounge, and the only question that I have is like, do people actually have these? Because in my high school, this was not a thing. So like, are there other people out there watching this who had a high school that had a student lounge? Because I surely didn't. Is that more of like a college thing? Or like, maybe in specific areas you're more likely to have a student lounge, or maybe like at boarding schools or something like that? I'm just confused because like I feel as though this is pretty common imagery in like TV shows surrounding high schools and maybe even middle schools, and it's not necessarily uncommon in like stuff like this where it's a playset. But I definitely never had that experience. Regardless, there's like a little vending machine. The door opens, which I understand is so you can actually grab the items. It's okay. Like, I don't know. To me, I'm like, that's not how a vending machine works. But also, I know it's foreplay, and you would need to have something like that to make this functional. The little foosball table is kind of cute. The chair is fine. Mostly, I am just confused. I'm going to put this in fine. I might run out of room in fine. Okay, then we have the Creepateria. It's like, it's a nice idea. It's not that I think that it's poorly executed or anything like that. I just can't imagine wanting to buy this. And that might be because I'm an adult. Like maybe if you were getting this as a kid, it would be a lot more exciting for you. But for me, I'm just like, I would rather them be anywhere than in the cafeteria. I'm going to say I feel nothing because I do think that it's not a bad playset. I'm just very obviously not the target audience. Oh, okay. Then we have the flotation station with Astronova. And I want to like this, but honestly, I like kind of debated putting it on here at all because while technically I think this is a playset, it is functionally useless if you don't have Astronova. Like if you get this secondhand and you only have this and no Astronova, it doesn't do anything. Like there's not really a way for other dolls to interact with this, and there's not really a way to use it for display in the way that it's intended without Astronova. So that's what I mean when I say I don't know if it really necessarily belongs on this list, because is this more part of the doll or is this a playset? I don't know. I know that I ranked Astronova at some point in one of my ranking videos, so I'm going to go ahead and rank the playset, and I'm going to say put it back, just because I know that it's for her. I think did it come with her? I think it did. But I just feel like there should have been something else like to make it slightly more interesting for the other dolls to also interact with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being optimistic here. Speaking of positivity, though, next up we have a good one. This is the Circus Scaregrounds from the Freak to Chic line. And I love this one. It is one of very few playsets that I actually have in my collection. It does help that I like the Rochelle doll that this came with, but even aside from that, I think this is a really fun playset. There's a lot of ways for different dolls to like interact and be displayed with this. I think it's got a lot of versatility. This swing is so stinking cute. And then this here where you can see the poster for Rochelle, all of the Freak to Chic dolls came with their own posters, so you could actually switch out which poster was going into this frame and like put on different acts and everything. I just think this is so fun and so creative, and it's so up my alley. I am obsessed, and it's going into perfect. Then we have the big one, like the Monster High playset, right? Like the equivalent of like a Barbie dream house, essentially. This is the school. And I mean, it's not bad. I I said that in such a bad tone though. I think this is like the cafeteria. So there's that. I'm not sure what's going on here because this looks like a Dracula situation, like the chair's upside down, it's hanging, there's an upside down picture of a vampire, it seems. But like I don't know what the deal is with that, I guess. There's like a classroom here. We've got stairs and chairs and tables. Again, I think I'm just not the target audience for this. That's the problem, is I'm looking at this retrospectively, and I feel like as a student or a young kid, this would have been so much cooler than it is now. Because now I'm just like, I get it. Monster High takes place mostly at the high school. So I understand why this was made as the school, but I just don't feel like it's as cool as it could have been. Like there's a couple lockers, but mostly it's just a bit confusing to me. I'm gonna say I feel nothing because I'm trying to be generous because like I know that it's not for me. Okay, finally breaking into Gen 2 here. We have the pet salon with Claudine. We're going to ignore Claudine happily this time. I love pets. And I have said before with things like the kind of new-ish LOL vet set that I'm not interested in a pet playset if it doesn't come with a cat. I do think in this gen, Crescent is a dog because there's like a bone and like the leash and the bath and everything, which doesn't feel very cat-ish. So it's losing points for that because like I certainly wouldn't buy this because there's no cat involved. But that being said, I do think that it's really cute just because it's pet stuff and I'm a sucker for pet stuff. That little doggy bath is killing me with cuteness. It's absolutely adorable. I'm going to pop this into fine because I can't say that I would buy it if I had the space, but like it's quite cute. Then we have the Fright Roast Coffee, which I guess is like Gen 2's Coffin Bean. I don't really know. It's definitely not as exciting to me. This is more akin to like the Scarce Cart in terms of scale and everything. I really don't feel anything. This is another one that I wasn't really sure should be considered a playset, but I counted it. Claudine with a locker. Because like I counted the Dracula locker and I counted the Astronova, so like I've dug my hole. I have to live here now. It sure is a playset. Honestly, sadly enough, it to me is more impressive than the Dracula locker because the Dracula locker was so much bigger and had nothing in it. Whereas this at least feels full, like it's a full locker. I still don't think it's super, but it's better. I'm going to say put it back. Oh, okay, then we have science class, and I do think that this one is quite fun despite me not liking Frankie very much. I just think science class is like a cool one to do for Monster High. It feels pretty thematic. It feels pretty interesting. Again, I've said this with a few of the playsets now. I think it could have been pushed further. Like, I think it could have been way more interesting than it is. But it's still pretty good. I'm going to put it in fine. I actually genuinely am going to run out of room in fine. Oh, okay, this is the Scream and Sugar Cafe. Which, Scream and Sugar, not my favorite line. I think this whole table is reused from Scarus, so that's not super. The candelabra, it took me a second to realize that's even what it was because it's all just the one color of plastic. I was like, what even is that for a moment? Like, the menu's fine, the treats are fine, but no, we're gonna say put it back. This one I just called Party. I think it was from the Welcome to Monster High line. But when prepping for this, I just called it Party. That's so unhelpful. We have what looks like it might be some sort of dancing mechanism where you could put like 2 dolls in these stands, and then it looks like maybe this crank would turn the platform so that they could dance. If I'm right, that's really cool and fun. If I'm wrong, just notch off like 2 ranks from wherever I end up putting this. I do like the microphone in the back, almost like a karaoke sort of party situation. Or, I mean, there are like actual pop stars who go to Monster High canonically. So maybe one of them is just performing. There's a few treats, and then there's like a photo booth situation with the balloons, and there's even the little camera, which I think is really cute. Like, that's a fun accessory. I don't know if this is unpopular given that this was a G2 line, and like G2 is by far the least popular generation of Monster High. But I actually think this playset is pretty good. Like, this is pretty fun. I don't think I would buy it. Maybe I would have bought it on sale if I had space and I would have painted it up. But does that count? Yeah, you know what? I think I would. I think as long as there is the dancing mechanic, I'm going to put this into would buy if I had the space. If it doesn't actually work like that, let me know in the comments, and I'm going to retroactively rank this as I feel nothing. Ooh, then we have the locker room with Frankie. I actually really liked this Frankie for no reason at all. Like, I don't know why I thought that she was so cute. The locker room itself, I think, leaves a lot to be desired. There's like a chalkboard / whiteboard situation. There's, sport accessories. I'm not a sporty person, so this really doesn't cater to me. I'm just going to say I feel nothing, because I do think that it could be a lot worse, but it's not for me. Then we have the vampire kitchen. I don't know. I know I'm not talking about the dolls. Don't like the Draculaura. I don't like the Dracula either, although I appreciate that this is how we got him. But why this, Maybe it was part of the G2 show and, like, this made sense. But why a vampire kitchen? Like, where did this come from? Some of the pieces are cool. I just don't understand it. There are a lot of accessories, though. I'm going to put it in fine for all the accessories, because, like, this is definitely more pieces than a lot of the playsets got. We're going to make it real small so I can squeeze some stuff under there if need be. Then we have the lunch, which is just like the Creepateria, except worse. I can't tell if this is supposed to be like a display for the lunches or a bench and half of a table. Like, the cart's kind of nice. I don't think it's quite the worst we've seen. I'm going to say put it back, but it's definitely not good. Oh, God. Okay. Last one for G2. This is like a wolf family bunk bed. This is when they started adding in like tons of random siblings for Claudine. This is terrible. This is genuinely terrible. All of the patterns don't work for me. I hated this whole thing where they just kept adding random, very small siblings with like random monster attributes. Hated that. No, this is bad. This goes and burn it. And that brings us to G3. How are there this many G3? I was like, oh, G3 probably only has like 2. Nope, there's several. Okay, so the Gorganizer with Draculaura. Again, I can't look at the doll. Like, that's not the point here. I'm not ranking the dolls this time. So I have to look at the actual playset, and I just think it's cool because it is a storage, like, function. The stuff it comes with I don't think is that super. For the playset alone, I'm going to put this in I feel nothing, because I really don't. The Draculaura, cute, but we can't look at her. Then we have the G3 Coffin Bean, and I know that I've been saying that I can't rank this based on the dolls, but I never said anything about the pets. And if you zoom in, that's Gooby. That's Gooby here, who is like a little green cat who I think might glow in the dark. Even if he doesn't, I don't care. I want this little cat so badly. Like, I don't need the rest of the playset. It's cool. I know I should be talking about that. I do think that this is a really good iteration of the Coffin Bean. I don't need it. I have nowhere to put it. I don't particularly feel like I want most of these pieces, but I want Gooby so bad. So I'm ranking this imperfect. Yes, I'm cheating, okay? But I can't rank that little cat any lower. I just can't. Then we have Claudine's bedroom. I did include the version with Draculaura since it comes with more stuff. I didn't do like the regular baseline one just because I didn't want to rank something that was almost the same. So we're giving her like the best possible chance here. There's a lot of accessories, a lot of really fun things. I'm ignoring the fact that this is a re-release, and a lot of people are disappointed with the fact that, like, in order to get the bedroom with the new outfit for Claudine and the Draculaura and everything, they have to like rebuy it if they've already purchased the bedroom that initially came out. I'm ignoring like the release controversy basically because that's not what I'm trying to factor in here. And if I'm just looking at the set, this is really cute. Like this is really fun. I don't think I would buy it, but I do really love all of the details that come with it. So we're going to put this in fine. We're going to have to like squeegee it underneath another one, but that's okay. Then we have the fashion studio with Claudine. And I did buy this, but I bought it for the doll and all the fashions because I loved most of her clothing. And I thought the doll was cute. And like the other pieces, I just don't really care about, like the vanity and everything. Didn't matter to me whatsoever. So I think I have to put this in I Feel Nothing, despite the fact that I paid money for it. Because I didn't do it for the clothing rack or the vanity. I did it for the doll and the clothes. Then we have Cleo's Gorganizer, and I feel pretty much the same way. I like the doll. I do think that like the fake tattoos is slightly cooler than what Draculaura came with. But ultimately, I think this is great for storage. But as a playset, it doesn't do much for me, so it's going to go into I Feel Nothing. Also, I guess I should have said this. I'm not including any of the Skulltimate Secrets lockers because while I think the lockers could technically be construed as a playset, they're all lockers, and I wasn't going to, like, put it in here. If you wanted a general ranking for that, honestly, I would put them in perfect, just because I like to display my Skulltimate Secrets dolls on the wall in the lockers. The fact that they hang up is super nice, and they're great for storage. I guess I should have put one in here as, like, an honorary mention, but it's too late now. Next up is the Bite in the Park Draculaura, and, like, this little bench and, like, a cafe sort of table. I do like this one because I kind of like that it's more minimalistic in the colors. I feel like it just makes it easier to make a display with it and have it all kind of go together. I like the little cans of food for the pets. That's actually so precious. Oh my gosh. I think this has to go in fine too, because like I can't imagine myself buying it even if I had space, but it's cute. Quick interlude here by editing me. I don't know if you noticed that some of the like footage from the chart was getting a little bit laggy. I don't know why, but from this point forward, it literally was just like stuck on Bite in the Park Draculaura. So we're gonna improvise and I'm gonna have the audio playing, but it's just gonna be over images. I am sorry. I don't know why this happens sometimes, but we're just gonna make the best of it. And then lastly, we come to the student lounge, which again, is that a thing that people have in their schools? I don't know. We are going to have a very similar conversation here. Okay, first of all, I like that there's more pieces in this version of the student lounge than in the G1 version. I love this little basketball game. I love these games and arcades. These are so fun. Like, I'll just sit there and go and go and go and go. I love that. The beanbag chair is pretty cute. Wish it was fabric. Obviously, that would have been amazing. All the accessories are cool, but why? Why is it that Gen 3 is putting all of their cutest pets in with the play sets that I don't want to buy? I can't buy this whole play set for this little spider, just like I can't buy the whole coffin bean play set for Gooby. I want to, though. Like, I want Gooby and I want this little spider so badly. I'm mad about it. So I'm going to rank it in perfect. I'm not doing this rationally or reasonably, but that's fine because it's my ranking. So this is where we are ending out today. Technically speaking, I should only have one imperfect here, but it's not like a terrible spread. I think most of them I feel either really ambivalent about or I think they're fine. We did run out of room in fine, which I feel like is a pretty good sign for this ranking. And honestly, there's not that many down in Burn It, which really just reaffirms my position that most of the time, the reason I don't buy playsets is because of either funds or space issues. Mostly it's the space issues for sure. And it's not that I hate playsets inherently. So that's cool, because like if this had gone a different way, this could have been a reveal of the fact that I just hate doll playsets with a passion. But that's not the case. I just don't have space for most of them, and I think that most of them could use some leveling up. But not a terrible ranking here. But yes, guys, that is going to be it for today's ranking. Like I said earlier, I would love to hear what you think about all of these playsets, and also which generation do you think had the best playsets? Please be nice in the comments, because I know that there's still like the whole G1 versus G3 thing can be a little bit aggressive, but I'm just curious now that we had a few playsets from G3 and obviously like tons from G1, G2, yes, there were some play sets. I feel like probably most people aren't going to pick that one. But hey, if you're a G2 lover, sound out in the comments. I'm not here to judge you. That's not my job. I'm just very curious to see which one you guys think has the best play sets. Like, ignoring the dolls, because like I know the controversy about the dolls, but the play sets, are we equally divided? I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, guys, I hope you were able to enjoy the video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.